All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. So happy y'all are able to join us today. And I want to offer the warmest welcome to our UC Davis College of Engineering webinar hosted by the Transfer Opportunity Program. My name is Sergio Maravilla. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm an assistant director of undergraduate admissions with UC Davis. And I have the honor of facilitating this wonderful webinar today and inviting some of our amazing guests. Some housekeeping items before we get started. Number one, as a reminder, this webinar is currently being recorded. And also two, after today, we will post the recording of this webinar on our UC Davis Top YouTube channel. So if you ever want to revisit any information shared today, if you have to leave early, or if you have a friend who might benefit from the information that we shared today, please visit the UC Davis Top YouTube channel. We have a lot of amazing pre-recorded webinars with a lot of information to help you on your transfer journeys. Additionally, too, if you have any questions throughout this whole presentation, please be sure to use the Q&A function found at the bottom of your screen. That's going to be the best way for us to answer any question that you may have about the College of Engineering, about UC Davis, student experience, or the transfer admission process. And we want to make sure that all your questions are answered. So please, please, please send them our way. We're happy to help out any questions. Here's an overview of our agenda today. First, we'll do a summary of the College of Engineering, highlighting the academic opportunities and everything in between that you can expect as a prospective engineering applicant. Then we'll dive deeper into Avenue E, all the support services that offers, and then also the next steps on how to join. And then we'll go on to our student panel with current transfer students in the College of Engineering. And then we'll wrap it up with a Q&A, so you can ask any questions with our student panelists, or any admission questions that you might have about engineering specifically. All right. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Javier. So to talk more about the College of Engineering.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Javier Gutierrez. I'm a first-year academic advisor in the engineering undergraduate office within the larger College of Engineering advising community. It is so incredible to see you all and have you all here today. Thank you for making some time out of your Tuesday evening to come in and chat with us today. Got a couple slides that I want to share with us today, but first, kind of like Sergio mentioned, just an overview of what these next couple of slides are going to look like. I'm going to overview a little bit about the College of Engineering and what you can expect as an incoming transfer student within the college. I'm going to hand it over to Yesenia after to talk about our retention programs within the College of Engineering. We're going to hand it then over to our wonderful upper division transfer students within the College of Engineering so they can answer some questions about their experience as transfer students. And then we're going to turn it back to you all for some questions and some answers and just, furthering the advising community and having you, giving you an opportunity to ask some of your burning questions at the end of the session. One of the biggest questions that I get in these presentations every single year is how many majors are within the College of Engineering? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 50 majors within the College of Engineering? Well, right now, within the College of Engineering, there are currently 13 different majors within the College of Engineering, ranging from everything, including aerospace science and engineering, biochemical engineering, biosystems engineering, biomedical engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, computer science, and then computer science and engineering. Yes, those are three different majors within the College of Engineering: electrical engineering, environmental engineering, material science and engineering, and then finally, mechanical engineering. Choosing your major is a very, very important rite of passage at UC Davis and the College of Engineering. You'll find that once you actually do choose a major and get accepted into the university, these can be the most specific majors in the world, but they can also be the most general majors in the world. And what I mean by that is, you'll kind of see and you'll learn from your faculty members within the College of Engineering. We may have a faculty member that graduated from a university with a degree in mechanical engineering, went on to pursue a master's degree or a PhD in civil engineering, and then eventually returned to UC Davis to be a faculty member within the material science and engineering department. We're all about learning as a community within the College of Engineering. So you'll find that a lot of times you may be taking classes with other different kinds of College of Engineering students, and you may even be pursuing research or internship opportunities with other faculty members and other departments within the College of Engineering. And that's totally fine. That's kind of the purpose. We want these things to be specific and general at the same time to make well-rounded engineers that can go into the industry after they leave from UC Davis with their undergraduate degrees. So that's one of the really, really amazing things about the College of Engineering. We are also one of the smaller colleges at UC Davis, so you'll have a greater opportunity to not only get to know your professors on a name by name basis, but also get to know the students that are around you as well, taking your classes with you and eventually graduating and walking the stage at graduation with you as well. Our overall focus within the College of Engineering is we want to create engineers for the world. Our overall mission is to educate and inspire the next generation of engineers to solve the world's most pressing challenges through research, innovation, and inclusive excellence. Our goal is we want to make sure that you have a purpose, coming into the College of Engineering and giving back to the greater community or the world at large by solving some of the issues that are issues today that may still be issues tomorrow, or seeing into the future of what the world is going to look like in 10 or 15 years from now when you're actually graduated in the field of engineering. Our professors will also give you some insights on what the past looked like for them when they were getting their undergraduate degrees in engineering back in the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, whatever the case may be, and how the world of engineering has changed a lot, but maybe not changed as much as we think it has for right now in the year 2025. So that's the purpose of coming to the university, being exposed to all these opportunities, all these faculty members, all these other engineers that are taking classes with you to find that inspiration to give back to the community and give back to the world in the future once you actually graduate from UC Davis. And one of the ways that we actually do that is with hands-on learning. If you're pursuing an engineering major, that means that you have some sort of creative intuition about working with your hands or wanting to problem solve with anything that comes across your plate in the world. And you'll see in a lot of these screenshots, whether it's in the Engineering Student Design Center or some of the computer labs on campus, a lot of that is going to be collaborative work. Rarely there will be ever a time at UC Davis where you're working on a project alone. A lot of times you're learning these soft skills of how to work collaboratively within a group of two, three, or maybe even four other undergraduate students and a couple faculty members to work on a project or work towards creating a solution towards a problem. So we want to make sure right out of the gate, some of these upper division classes that you're taking in your first quarter at UC Davis will require you to have creative solutions and work with your hands in these classes or in these lab spaces, especially in that first year at UC Davis. Another way that you can get that hands-on learning is through our design teams and our competitions. Right now, UC Davis has over 40 active engineering clubs, teams, and organizations. Some of our favorite ones that we love to highlight every single year include the Eco Car program, the Steel Bridge Team Chrome Ollie program, the Concrete Canoe program. Formula racing at UC Davis is one of my personal favorites and my personal highlights, the Robotics Club, and then Aggie Propulsion and Rocketry Lab. You may be joining a design and competition team with over 40 members, not necessarily only within the College of Engineering. You may be working with data science majors or physics majors or mathematics majors that are outside in other areas of campus, just giving you a little bit more exposure to different students around campus and letting you learn about, the entire community at UC Davis as a whole and building those collaborative relationships. Because when you graduate, when you enter the field, you may be seeing these people and working alongside these people in the industry as well. Design teams and competitions are super, super important. And one of the reasons why they're super, or one of the ways that we display that importance is every single year at new student orientation that happens in September, if you're transferring in a fall quarter, we're going to have a club fair at orientation, giving you an opportunity for us to bring all of these design and competitions and clubs and organization groups to you at orientation, usually on the south side of Banner Hall every single year, giving you an opportunity to meet and interact with these primary leaders like the presidents, vice presidents, treasurers, the chassis leads, the suspension leads, the transmission leads of these design teams and competitions. So you can get to know about them, how they got their start at UC Davis, what makes them passionate about being in that design team or competition club, giving you that opportunity to kind of learn about it before you even step foot on campus for your first day of classes. So if you do end up transferring to UC Davis in the College of Engineering, that's also something that you have to look forward to as well. Internships and study abroad is super important. There's a weird misconception out there in the world that engineers cannot do study abroad programs, that you don't have time to study abroad. And honestly, that's just not true. So not true that specifically UC Davis has specific opportunities for engineering students to do study abroad programs. For example, the engineering and computer science internship programs that happen in Tokyo, Japan every single year, or the engineering or computer science programs that happen in Barcelona or Seoul, South Korea, or in Mexico City, or in other parts of the world, giving you an opportunity to not only immerse yourself in a different culture that's around the world, but also travel with other students, maybe from UC Davis, maybe from across the UC system, and faculty members, traveling to these parts of the world, immersing yourself in the culture, and understanding the problems may be regional, but they also may be general. The same problems that we have here in California, USA, they may be experiencing those same problems or a different version of that same problem in different parts of the world. So really, really great opportunity for you to do that. Maybe not necessarily in your first quarter, but definitely sometime throughout your first, second, or third year at UC Davis, something to look forward to in the College of Engineering. The Student Startup Center is specifically designed for our more entrepreneurial students who are thinking about or have an idea about a specific company or a startup that they want to start up during their time at UC Davis. Due to some time commitments today, we won't actually have a chance to show this video to you, but if you wanted to kind of look at this on your own independent time, this is Aaron Anderson, the director of the Student Startup Center at UC Davis. His overarching goal is empowering students to follow their goals, follow their gut. If they have an idea or a creative intuition of something that they want to create in the world that maybe doesn't already exist, how do we make that happen? What do you already know about that idea? And how can we bring that to life? That is what Aaron Anderson and his team does every single day for students within the College of Engineering. He'll also teach specific entrepreneurship classes every single year at UC Davis. So if you have a chance, click on that link that I just put in the chat for you at the bottom of your screen. Highly recommend utilizing the Student Startup Center when you come to UC Davis in the future. Same deal with the Engineering Student Design Center. This is the design, manufacturing, and fabricating space that we have within the College of Engineering. There are some of your upper division classes that may take place in the Engineering Student Design Center, but especially if you join a student design or competition team, you will definitely have a chance to use the Engineering Startup Center, whether you're cutting, welding, brazing, using high voltage batteries, maybe corrosives or explosives. And, especially if you're part of the rocketry teams, the Engineering Student Design Center is going to be your home for all of those things and more. Whether you're taking classes in there, you're participating for a club or design team, or you're just interested in working in the space as a student employee. This is a really, really awesome opportunity for you to get your hands dirty in your first year at UC Davis and work on things, work on projects, work towards a specific project or a goal for your design team or competition team. Highly, highly recommend looking at the Engineering Student Design Center video in the chat that's at the bottom of your screen. Again, due to time commitments today, we won't have a chance to show this video, but highly, highly recommend checking out this tour video whenever you get a chance. All righty. And then, like I mentioned, that was the Engineering Student Design Center. So, highly recommend utilizing that or maybe coming to campus on the weekends if you have an opportunity to take a look at it as well. Last couple of things, design showcases and research. Every single year, graduating seniors within the College of Engineering will have to participate in our engineering design showcase. This is an opportunity for you to partner up with 2 or 3 other College of Engineering seniors and work with a faculty member within your department to identify a problem or an issue that you find in your communities or in the world and go in, start doing research on this topic. We usually begin this in the second to last year before you graduate from UC Davis. Flesh it out, do some experiments, run some data, and have an opportunity for you to present and defend that at the engineering design showcase that happens in around June every single year. So you'll be paired up with other students, you'll be paired up with a faculty member that's a specialist in this area. Really awesome and amazing opportunity to get your name out there and display what you can do in your final year at UC Davis. All righty, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my colleague Yesenia so she can talk about our retention programs.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, Yesenia Cervantes Tucker. I use she, her, hers, and ella pronouns. So happy to be with you all today. I'm going to talk about two programs in the college that are designed to support students and ensure the retention of students who are from underrepresented backgrounds, specifically those that identify as first generation, low income, or are highly committed to increasing access in engineering. Okay, and so we have two. One is leader, and that's for students that are first year matriculates, first time Frosh students, and then Avenue E, which is for all of you, our transfer students. Okay. So here's a snapshot of our staff. Shannon is my counterpart in Avenue E. She is the person that coordinates our activities for transfer students. Vanessa and Lauren support our students in the leader program. All right, now why Avenue E? Well, the goal of the program is really, as I mentioned earlier, to expand access and allow students to engage in academic and professional excellence by way of the way that they engage at UC Davis. We do that through programming that we offer, but also the support that we provide to students to ensure that they graduate with an engineering degree after transfer. It's important for you to get here, more important for you to graduate. Okay, so that's our goal, is to help all of you graduate with that degree. All right, some benefits. So like we do really amazing programming, but the main purpose for our program is to increase retention, persistence, and graduation. I included some data here because I know data is important. You all are scientists, the data matters, right? So why join Avenue E? Because the students that are in our programs tend to do really well. You can see that from the 2023 cohort, 100% of the students that identified as first gen, as from an underrepresented background, who were women, like they all persisted, right? They stayed in the major and they came back into their second year. So we do provide professional development throughout the year, but more importantly, we provide this holistic sense of support for students. What are your goals? How can we help you achieve those goals? That's what you're going to get out of Avenue. All right, so our program begins really in the summer. 2 weeks before the academic year starts, we launch our Transfer Bridge program. And in that program, we create opportunities for peer connection. We really want to strengthen your sense of belonging here at the university, making sure that you feel like this is a place that's right for you, that you know how to access all the resources and opportunities that exist. And we invite industry professionals to talk to students as well about what it's like to be an engineer. How do you find that first job? What's it like to work in a company? And that's really important because, as I mentioned before, many of the students in our program are first generation college students. And so those students don't have access to this kind of information readily available to them. So we want to make sure that they gain like a good foundation, a strong foundation, so that they know how to navigate the engineering program that they're going into. Okay. The other thing you've heard me say a few times already is career development. Professional development is really important for students. And we want to make sure that you maximize those 2 years that you're here at the university so that when you graduate, you are ready to land into a job. And so we want to promote experiential learning opportunities. Javier mentioned all the ways that you can gain experience through clubs on campus, right? If you need some experience or are looking for a way to connect with students, we're going to encourage you to join a club, right? And there's lots of them. And so we'll make some recommendations on a few that you might want to consider based on your interest and your major. We prep students for graduate school if they're interested in taking that path. That is a career path, is graduate school. You might want to become a professor later on, or you just might want an advanced degree to really help you develop greater strength or skill in your area of study. And then we do lots of networking opportunities. We invite industry professionals to come and speak to students. We do resume preps and talk about cover letters and, preparing for interviews and the gamut of professional development. Okay, the other thing we provide for students is academic support. We know that some students struggle academically and can still be successful. And so we want to make sure that if a student is struggling, they have access to tutoring. So we connect them with the tutor at the tutoring center and make sure that they have support that way, or to one of the other free tutoring resources on campus. but we also provide this holistic support that I mentioned earlier through academic advising. So every student gets connected with Shannon, who is the academic advisor for the program, and they meet quarterly to talk about how things are going, make sure they're doing well. If they're not, to connect them to resources, maybe talk about, you know, again, that professional development. What do they have planned for their career? Have they considered internships or consider doing research, or study abroad? You know, what do you want to do? How can we help you kind of achieve that goal? And then we also have a dedicated study center, the Leader Center, which is accessible to all Avenue E Leader students or any student at UC Davis that's in engineering or beyond. And it's a space that you can come and just hang out with your friends and learn and study and work on projects and, you know, do what you need to do to be successful. Okay, some additional services to highlight, co-curricular support, again, like bringing in opportunities for you to just expand your skill set, your knowledge, be ready, you know, for the job market. We have leadership opportunities that we offer students. There's scholarships that we promote. We have a weekly newsletter, and so in that newsletter, there's ways that you can apply for scholarships or internships or jobs if you're getting ready to enter the job market. We do outreach activities as well to recruit future engineers into the college, and there's ways for you to give back in that way. And then we have peer mentoring opportunities where all of our second-year students serve as peer mentors to first-year students and help them navigate their journey at UC Davis. And then we celebrate. We have lots of celebrations throughout the year because we want to make sure that our students are feeling accomplished and like their successes are being celebrated, right? So we have events throughout the year to just to commemorate all of the hard work that students are doing and to applaud their efforts. All right, so to be eligible for the program, we give special consideration or strong considerations to students that are first generation EOP or low income, have been previously involved in educational preparation program recognized in the UC admissions application, students who show leadership, potential, or a commitment to fostering inclusivity and expanding access in engineering and computer science. And we learn about that in the application that we have students submit. Students are required to complete some essay responses, and that's where you get to tell us how you fulfill these requirements. And then students who participate in extracurricular activities, because our program designs a lot of programming and we want students to be involved, right? We want you to take advantage of the things that we offer you. And so you'll learn a little bit more about this, but you know, the Summer Bridge program is another thing that is sort of an eligibility requirement for us. And we do have a two-part program, the community college program and then the UC Davis program. Many of these requirements here are for our UC Davis program, but if we go to the next slide, we're going to learn about the community college eligibility, which was similar to what I just covered for all of you. What I want to highlight here is that students who are at Los Rios, Contra Costa, San Joaquin Delta, or Peralta have an opportunity to begin engaging with Avenue E right now. If you complete the interest form with the QR code that's on the screen, you'll gain access to our calendar, and the calendar basically gives you the opportunity to engage in workshops or activities that are happening throughout the year at your own discretion, okay? So any student at one of those community colleges can complete this interest form and start to connect with us. That said, every student that wants to participate in the Avenue E at UC Davis program will need to complete an application at the time of their admission, okay? So this is one step, but everybody will have access to the UC Davis program. Once admitted, they'll have an opportunity to apply. All right, some important deadlines to consider. January 11th, we have our Avenue Scholar Award application. That's an opportunity to apply for a Scholar Award. If you belong to one of those 4 community college districts that were on the previous page, then you'll learn about this opportunity. You'll get emails from us, but it's also noted on that calendar that I mentioned that you can access via the QR code that was on the previous slide. The other thing I'll mention is that the Avenue E application that's accessible to any student that gets admitted to the College of Engineering will go live when you get admitted to UC Davis, but the deadline to apply will be May 17th. All right, if you have any questions, please check out our website, email us. We're happy to answer them.
Yay. Thanks y'all so much. Sharing more information about Avenue E, the College of Engineering. I know it definitely probably sparked more questions for our listeners, and hopefully they'll reach out soon. So now we'll transition over to our student panel. So I'm going to ask our student panelists to, please share their screens. We can go ahead and get started. And while I'm doing that, while we're in the transition process, I do want to answer some questions in the chat. There was a question specifically about articulation, and I just wanted to answer this real quick. So the question was, if my community college does not have a one-to-one articulation for chemistry, for Chem 2A, will it be waived in the admission process, or what should we advise students? In this situation, if you can earn credit for Chem 2A at your community college, then we are going to require it in the admission process. Sometimes that does mean you have to take the whole series of chemistry in order to earn credit for Chem 2A. However, if the student can still earn credit for Chem 2A at that community college, even if it's by taking the whole series, we will hold them to that requirement. And then also too, we do have student and family housing for married students. And then we do have our Veterans Resource Center as well at UC Davis. I saw that was another question in the chat. And then I do hope that the Avenue E presentation did answer the first question. I think it did. So if you're admitted to the College of Engineering, you are still more than welcome to get involved at that point.
I just want to add one thing, Sergio, which is that for our older students, parents, and otherwise, like we do have and for all transfer students, we have a transfer and re-entry center. That's going to be really important for you all to access if you come here. And that center has a lot of resources for our re-entry students, our parents, older students.
Thank you so much. All right, so now let's transition over to our students. So to start off, do y'all just mind sharing, your name, your current major, and then where you transferred from? And then maybe we'll start off with Isela.
Okay, so my name is Isela. Hello everyone. My name is Isela. I'm studying mechanical engineer, and I transferred from College of Marine. I forgot to say my pronoun, she and her.
My name is Sam. I'm also a mechanical engineering student, senior, and I transferred from Sacramento City College in the Los Rios district.
Hi guys, my name's An, and I'm a civil engineering major. I transferred from Casinos River College. So if anyone's transferring from Casinos River College or Los Rios in general, can y'all type it down? Or everyone just type it down, all of your CC, please. Things.
I love it. I love it. All right. So thank you so for introducing yourselves. We'll start off with a very, probably a question a lot of people probably have for current students. Why did you choose to study engineering? And then why specifically at UC Davis? Anyone want to start?
I think I can start. Oh, unless Sam want to start first.
You go ahead.
Okay. So the reason why I chose civil engineering is because becoming a civil engineer has always been one of my goals, and it actually aligns with most of my strengths. So that's why I chose it. UC Davis specifically is because before I got transferred, I was able to I had a chance to attend a program that's called transfer Aggie transfer Aggie Scholar Transfer Weekend. There we go. Where I get to stay in Davis, actually live in the dorm and experience to become an Aggie student for a week, and that's actually helped me gain a lot of experience and connections with other engineers and people who are like-minded. And that's the main reason why I chose Davis to transfer to. Yeah.
I chose mechanical engineering because I've always enjoyed studying math and science, and engineering is a good marketable skill to use those sorts of education towards mechanical in particular, just because I like all sorts of engineering, and mechanical was kind of the center of it all. There's lots of things that you can do with a mechanical engineering degree. And I was kind of torn between UC Davis and Sac State. But UC Davis ended up having the better program, and it was local. It was about 40 minutes from where I grew up. So I wanted to stay around the friends and family that I was rooted in.
It's my turn. Mechanical engineer. I love cars. I grew up with my uncle, and he's a mechanic, and always I really love cars and knowing how things work. But I mean, here I actually just went to learn English in my community college, and I discovered it. I like math, and then from there, everything started like learning about engineering, and it's just mechanical engineer fit best for me because it's so broad. So you're not like tied to one thing, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want to be tied to one specific thing like electrical engineer. And I chose Davis just because I have kids, and I knew I was gonna commute from San Rafael, which is 70 miles away from Davis. Uh, and it was close enough to drive, but at the same time, I felt the welcoming right away. I got my letter, an acceptance letter, one Friday, and on Monday, I had an email from the reentry center telling me, "You're here. We know you have children. We have support for you." And no one else beat it, the financial aid from UC Davis. So I was like, I mean, they really want me. So that's a reality. So, and I can tell you, I got accepted into 6 of the 8 places I got into, and Davis was just the best, and I'm so happy there.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I can attest on the admission side that we wanted each and every one of you, and we are so, so happy to have you all on our campus and also here contributing to prospective students also looking to UC Davis potentially for engineering. So we can go on to our next question. This might have to do some reflecting because I'm sure there'll be a lot, but what has been y'all's favorite or most fulfilling experience that you've had with engineering at UC Davis?
My favorite experience, honestly, was through the manufacturing processes class that we took. We get to do a lab in the Engineering Student Design Center, which, by the way, is a state-of-the-art facility. They built it a couple of years ago, and I've been told is the envy of the state. Got a lot of amazing manufacturing tools there, lathes and CNC machines and whatnot. And I got a chance to use those machines to build both a totem piece that I designed that didn't do much but had some cool features on it, and then a gyroscope that is working and spins for a couple of minutes at a time. Got to work with a couple other people as sort of a team, collaborate so that our pieces fit together. And actually build a thing with my own hands. So that was my favorite experience, being actually able to build something in our machine shop and then watch it work.
I can go next if you want. So Sam said something that I wanted to say. That's really, that class was really nice, but probably my biggest experience at Davis is just doing research. Doing research in the core lab. They work with cars and energy efficiency, and it's just, I'm applying the things I'm learning in my classrooms, and I think it's just like really cool. Having access to research is just it's amazing because then you can take that with you and then you can put in your resume. It's just I like it. I like it. Like there are so many opportunities to do research.
Um, let's see. My most favorite experience is also being a researcher at UC Davis. Actually working for UC Davis on-campus lab called UCPRC, which is like a pavement lab, and this lab is like directly funded from Caltrans. So civil engineers who plan on working for Caltrans, this will look good on your resume. Um, I hope. And I actually get to experience like professional work experience and get to do a lot of hands-on activities. Gained me a lot of experience. And yeah, that's the most interesting part.
Y'all are enlightening me to so many great things in the College of Engineering, whether it's like pursuing your own designs or this hands-on research experience or like this, very applicable professional experience as well. So thank y'all so much for sharing that. Next question, what was something you learned or maybe found surprising or cool about the College of Engineering that you might not have known about before? I know y'all probably did a lot of research in Davis and engineering, but was there anything that you were like, oh wow, I didn't know that was a thing until you actually got to campus?
For me, it was something you mentioned towards the beginning, and it's how not necessarily small, but how tight a community the College of Engineering is. My experience has been that it's compared to community college, it's really easy to get to know people and to get to know a lot of people very well. And especially towards the senior year, as a lot of us are being funneled towards very relevant classes, I know most of the people in most of my classes, and we know I'm a part of a number of pretty tight friend groups as a result. And so if I ever need help or I want to just hang out with people, there are people for all of that. So it's been really nice and a pleasant surprise to be able to know a lot of fellow like-minded engineers with pretty well.
I think I'm gonna back up what Sam just said. For me, it was the transition was so hard because I'm older and I'm way older than most of the students, so I felt so different at the beginning. But realizing that the students are so nice, like I always sit in the front row, but the next quarter someone sees me and say like, "Oh, you were in my class." I'm like, "Oh, Maria, no, I was in the front. I didn't see you." So we know each other even if we're not close friends, but they're nice. Like they're nice with me and they talk with me. Even I can't really study because I commute and I have to go back to my family. But it's just it makes me happy, right? Because I feel like I'm in the right place. And I thought engineering was so competitive, like people were so mean and all that stuff. And it's just like it was surprising to find that it was actually different. And students really care about other students. They're not like competing for anything. And the amount of clubs, like we have so many clubs, but it's just the welcoming part. It's amazing. It feels you like you don't miss your community college because you are there, like they know you. So I think that was pretty cool.
Sorry, my answer is going to sound a little bit nerdy, but I really surprised that our UC Davis campus has I think the biggest public geotechnical centrifuge, which is like a very big centrifuge machines used for geotech. And another thing that surprised me is that I know that Caltrans has two main university pavement research center, and we have the biggest one. The other one is in Berkeley, but we do have the biggest one. So yay! Yeah.
I love it. Not nerdy at all. If anything, you're speaking everyone's language here. And then community, I love that answer. I'm sure everyone's feeling a little bit more reassured now that, the academic opportunities and research opportunities are there, but the community is also there present. So thank y'all for sharing that. Next question. I think this is going to be more about the application process. Can y'all, because as y'all know, the College of Engineering has some additional requirements, has some additional GPA requirements. So can y'all just tell us a little bit more about your application experience and maybe some tips or pieces of advice that you want to share to all of our prospective transfer applicants looking to apply for engineering today?
Yeah, for me, it was pretty straightforward. I think we probably have a mix here of normal applicants and tag applicants, but I went through the tag route, which is, if you don't know, is what they call the transfer application guarantee or transfer admission guarantee, and basically a recipe book of requirements that if you pass a certain number of classes with a certain number of grades, and I think you have to have a certain GPA or higher, then you can fill out a little bit of paperwork and you're basically guaranteed admission. So that's what I ended up doing, which made it pretty stress-free. So I'll let Anna or Acela speak to the other process if either of them did that.
Okay, I tried to go through that route, but I had a 3.46 and they couldn't round it. So I went to the just the normal process. I think on my side, it was the community work I done in my community college and in my own community. I really love to help my people. I want to see more Latinos. I'm always advocating. And I think UC Davis saw that part. And I just like I think that's the key. Like you may have a lower GPA, maybe a 3.0, 3.1, but if you're doing good stuff outside, you're helping, you're caring, the people who read your PIQs, they will notice that. But you have to be sure to put that out there. Just be humble and just tell your story and why you want to go to UC Davis or why you want to do this or that, right? Especially if you're first gen. Yeah, just focus on your PIQs if you're applying for if you don't have like a really high GPA.
Yeah, to add on to other suggestions from Samuel and Isela, besides keeping up with your GPA, which is one of the required requirements, I suggest that if you guys have time, please do involve in clubs and transfer programs from your CCs. Those are very important on your applications, because I think for UCs or administrators, they care about how you distinguish yourself amongst other applicants. So besides your GPA, you need to make yourself stand out, and those experience of yours in programs, especially transfer programs and your majors programs and clubs, and work experience, that will help you stand out a lot. And also during your application process, meet up with your transfer advisors and help them read through your applications and make sure you meet all the requirements before you submit it.
Definitely, definitely. A wealth of wisdom right here, because I would have the same exact piece of advice. Sam, I love how you talked about the transfer mission guarantee, the tag route. That's definitely an opportunity. The personal insight questions, extracurriculars, everything is going to be really important in the application process. So I am kind of curious though, kind of rewinding a little bit. Were y'all involved in any kind of support programs during your time at community college? How often would you see a counselor? Like, was that very helpful? Like, what exactly did you do during your time at community college that really helped you with your transfer journey?
I think I can go first with this one. So I actually involved a lot with my transfer program at my CC. Um, I also involved in a transfer club, which we created to help with the transfer students in the transfer process. During the application time, I actually meet up with my advisors every other week, just to make sure that I'm on track. And I'm also like really nervous about this process because I'm too scared of messing it up. And although I bother them a lot, they kind of remember my face now, to be honest. But that helps with my process, and they're more than welcome to meet with you, making sure that you're on track. Don't scare of bothering them, because that's what they want to. They want to be bothered. They want to like help you with your process, and they're there for you. Yeah.
I could go next to that one. Like I said at the beginning, I started in the ESL program, like learning English in my community college. I didn't go to high school here in this country. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea that you could even transfer. I didn't know that. But now I'm at UC Davis. I couldn't be here without the help. from counselors. They know, they have the map. If you tell them a little bit about what you want to do or the things you like, they will guide you in the best way. Because sometimes I see people go to community college, they just want to get out in 2 years, and sometimes they don't have the requirements, right? Counselors, they are there to help you. So it's just take advantage of that. They are getting paid. If you don't see them, they're still getting paid. The first 3 years, I didn't get involved in anything because I was so shy. But then Mesa came to my community college, which is a group that support low income and first generation students. So I became very active with Mesa to the point that I am back to College of Marine, and I'm working kind of like as a mentor there. It's just I want them to see that even if we transfer, we're still the same people. Like we didn't change. If you don't want to change, you're not changing, right? But again, it's just like you need support. It's just hard. It's harder to do it by yourself. So if you have access to counseling, do it, and you'll be fine.
Not a ton to add to that. I was briefly a part of Mesa right at the end of my community college day, and they were helpful. They helped kind of give me some support. And then the counselors there were very helpful. I had one counselor in particular who helped get me set up with getting associates as I transferred and getting all the requirements buttoned up. So the counselors were very helpful.
All right, sweet. So what's the summary there? Transfer centers, transfer clubs, Mesa, your counseling team. And I will throw one out there for all of our listeners today. The UC campuses that you're looking into. We also have a bunch of admission advisors here to help you with your transfer journey. So don't be scared to, extend out of your community college environment, and definitely reach out to the campus that you're interested in, specifically UC Davis, if that's on your radar. But all right, so I think that's all the questions that I had. I guess I'll just kind of open it up to any questions that, well, I'll say this to all of our listeners. If you have any questions, if you have any kind of curiosities, anything at all about UC Davis, engineering, transfer process, now is your time to ask. We have, professional staff here from the College of Engineering, from Avenue E, from admissions. We have current students who went through the transfer process. So now is your time to ask if you have any questions whatsoever, now that we have about maybe 10 minutes left from our session today. And then while everyone is writing their, high quality questions in the Q&A box, I think I'll just ask all of our current students, is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners today? Anything else that you think they should know as they're, planning to apply or prepping to apply?
If you guys trying to apply for UC Davis, please also apply to Avenue E. They are very, very helpful and benefits you more than you think.
Good plug. Good plug.
Just to kind of second that, a couple of my favorite things about Avenue E. One is pretty obvious, Transfer Bridge. For if this was your first time hearing about it, it is a 2-week program where you get maximally oriented to this campus, both with the programs that we have, and you get to spend a week here on campus just getting your bearings. That helped me in 2 ways. One, I came here with a solid friend group to begin with, whereas everybody was still kind of floundering around trying to figure out their new classes and their new friends and whatnot. I already had a group of people that were there to support me. And also I already knew my way around the campus, where all the classrooms were and whatnot. So it was a tremendous advantage being a brand new student, being able to use that. Second advantage of Avenue E that I appreciate is what we call the Leader Center, which is that study room that Yesenia was talking about. And I take advantage of that probably every day of the week, because I know that the other members of Avenue E are going to be there. And so it's a good place to just have other people that I can study with who are just going to be there and ready to talk about whatever homework or classes we're dealing with at the moment. So it's a pretty cool support network that we have there.
Yeah, I will say something like really quick. It's even if you don't believe you can get accepted at UC Davis, just try. I mean, just let them say no. If you're missing a class, or probably if you're missing a class from the assist, maybe the chances are less. But for GPA or for other reasons, just try. And if you come to UC Davis, buy an old bike and just leave it there and bike around because UC Davis is huge.
And then while we're still waiting, I have just one or two miscellaneous notes that I wanted to bring up from Javier's presentation. He briefly mentioned the Student Startup Center. I just want to kind of second that. I'm not a part of the center, but I have had a chance to meet Aaron Anderson. And even if you don't have any interest in starting any entrepreneurial business, Mr. Anderson is very good at what he does, and he has some very cool insights. And so he's just a cool guy to get to know and to be around as an engineer. There's some good stuff you can learn there. And then also was mentioned the opportunities to study abroad or intern abroad. A mutual friend of mine in Acellas took advantage of this summer, and she came back with glowing reports. She went to Japan and did an internship there, learned a ton of cool stuff, saw a ton of cool stuff. So that's a very real opportunity that you can take advantage of. And the application process really isn't that difficult. So I would encourage anybody who can to take advantage of that opportunity.
All right, thanks, y'all. So I'll do one last call out for any questions. And I think now for all of our panelists, Javier, Yesenia, I think if y'all can just scroll through those questions in the Q&A to kind of see if you can answer any. And I see that there's more mission related questions, so I'm going to go ahead and answer those out loud. And for all of our participants, keep on throwing those questions out there, even if it's random, even if you don't think it's that serious, go ahead and drop it in. We're happy to answer. So the first question I see is, can I still transfer to mechanical engineering if I missed only one transfer requirement because of the availability at my community college? Great question. I'll first start off by saying this. To be the most competitive applicant for our College of Engineering, you are going to complete all the required and recommended courses by the end of your last spring semester. If you miss one of those transfer admission or one of those courses, your application will still be reviewed, but it does depend on the class that you're missing. If it is a core class that we really need in the application process and it's required for admission, that will severely impact your application. If it's maybe a recommended class that just isn't offered that term, you weren't able to take it, I can affirm that your application will still be fully reviewed. But just note, to be the most competitive applicant, those applicants will have taken all the required recommended courses. And definitely, if it's not offered at your community college, note that in the application process. We've been pretty good about knowing if classes are offered or not, but definitely make a note about that in the application. I do see another question. Is the transfer process different for veterans? If so, how? So the transfer admission process for the College of Engineering will be the same for veterans and non-veterans. You'll still have to meet the same admission requirements, meet the same GPAs, and submit the application by the deadlines. The only thing that might be different about your application is that you're going to include more, veteran military benefits kind of information in your UC application, which would connect you to additional support services that we have at UC Davis. But in the review process to determine eligibility, it will be the same for non-veteran applicants as well. And then what kind of clubs have you been in and how have they benefited you? Anyone want to share about that? Maybe clubs at Davis or clubs at your CC?
Sam, you can go.
Sure. I'm not part of any clubs, but I am part of sort of a research lab from our heat transfer professor here, Professor Narayanan. And they have a test chamber to test heat pumps, and it's a pretty cool opportunity. It counts more as an internship, but it is a research lab here on campus. So I get to see some cool stuff, work with some cool apparatuses, and do a lot of research and development. So I enjoy that because it's kind of what I'm looking to go into as a mechanical engineer. I get to work with other students there and other people who are full-time employees who have a lot of knowledge to share.
At Davis, as of right now, I only joined badminton club and Vietnamese club just so I have a peace of mind and have more connections outside of class. But back in my CC, I joined a lot of clubs. I joined transfer clubs, obviously. I joined Civil Engineering Club. I joined Mesa clubs. Like it's a club different from Mesa program, but kind of the same. Let's see. Yeah, I can't think of any on top of my head, but yeah, I did join a lot of clubs just so I have something to put on the applications. But also it helps me gain a lot of experience and gain a lot of connections, and connections are very important in this generations. Like as a person that you don't think you meet again, you might have a chance that you see them at your you see that you're gonna transfer, and that will help a lot. So yeah, do join as much clubs as possible, but do consider your time to study too. Try to balance it out.
I have a question. Can you guys talk a little bit about saving notes, saving textbooks from some of the core classes that you took at the community college? I'm talking like calculus, physics notes, chemistry notes, biology notes, some of these circuits classes that students already took. Like, did you guys hold on to those as you guys came to UC Davis? Are those helpful for you now as you're taking these classes?
I absolutely did. I did two things. One, I like to take notes on paper. And so I use one kind of 50 sheet yellow pad that's all just bound together per class, and that tends to fit. So I have a whole bookshelf with these yellow pads. And if I just need to know something about circuits, go pull it off the shelf. Can't fit that all in a backpack, obviously. So the other thing I do is I keep kind of the consolidated cheat sheet for the exams, and I'll make one cheat sheet for the entire semester and then keep that in my binder. So now I have all my community college cheat sheets from those core classes. So if I ever need something, one of those prerequisite concepts or equations, I just pull that note card out, look at it real quick. It's written by me, so it's very understandable to me instead of trying to navigate some YouTube video. So I find that to be pretty helpful to give myself a refresher on that stuff.
Um, I kept my books because I like to buy books that used books, so they were pretty cheap. And math, calculus. The other day I went back to check my calculus book. I have my equation sheets that I got from my calculus classes, my physics. I have copies in my binder all the time because you're doing physics. It's basically the same physics, same equations, and I understand like those equations. Then the new ones, and professors are different in the way they teach, but the questions are the same, and it just brings my memories and make my classes easier. The notes, I'm really bad taking notes. I don't understand my writing. I just take notes for my brain, but yes, I do keep. I have my books and I have my equation sheets from previous classes. So if you have one, don't throw it away. Keep it.
I actually save all my notes in my iPad, and it's very accessible. I can bring it everywhere, anywhere, and those are very helpful here because upper divisions are applications of lower divisions. So all the calculus, I know you guys are sick of it, but you'll meet it again. You'll have to use it again. Derivatives, not too bad, but yeah, you still have to use it. Statics for civil, static is the most important thing. And you use it a lot. And I also made good connections with people who have took classes that I'm taking right now and asked for their notes. And most of them have their notes saved on Google Drive. So they just send me the file and I can access it through my laptop or my iPad. Those are very helpful. So again, make connections and ask them for their notes, please.
I love it. All right, y'all. Our conversation has been so much fun. I personally have learned so much about the College of Engineering and have really appreciated, everything from Avenue E to all your student experiences. But with it being 6 o'clock, we will have to wrap up our conversation. If any one of our mechanical engineers can answer that question in the chat, that might be a little above my expertise, but maybe see if you can answer it. And I will stay on a little bit longer to talk a little bit more about the admission requirements for College of Engineering, just so y'all have your questions answered for the video as well. But y'all are more than welcome to stay on, more than welcome to hop off. But regardless, I just want to say thank you all so much for all your expertise and your time, and I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sergio. Take care, everyone.
Of course. And again, for all of our
Thanks.
listeners, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be going over the admission process a little bit more right now.
Good luck, guys. Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so in very shortly, I just want to talk more about the admission requirements to UC Davis and some resources for you all. All right, so at UC Davis, all transfer applicants will be required to do these 3 minimum requirements. Whether you're an engineering applicant or you're a non-engineering major, these are the 3 admission requirements that you'll need to complete. Number 1 has to do with units. All transfer applicants must complete at least 60 semester units of UC transferable coursework by the end of their last spring semester. In regards to GPA, all transfer applicants in the College of Engineering must have at least or have a minimum GPA of a 3.1 across all their UC transferable coursework. If a course is not UC transferable, it will not be considered in the GPA count. But if you're applying for any major in the College of Engineering, it will be a 3.1 minimum GPA. If you're looking for the transfer admission guarantee, the tag pathway for the College of Engineering, then your minimum GPA will actually be a 3.50 cumulative college GPA, as well as all the required courses for your specific major. And then the third requirement for all transfer applicants at UC Davis, all transfer applicants must complete the 7-course pattern by the end of their last spring semester. The 7-course pattern includes 2 English composition courses, 1 math class, and then 4 general education courses and at least 2 out of 3 of the following subject areas. Those subject areas include arts and humanities, social and behavioral sciences, and lastly, physical and biological sciences. Within the College of Engineering, you are very confidently going to get a lot of physical and biological sciences courses just because of all the required classes that you have for your major. However, please note that you need to complete at least 4 classes from at least 2 out of 3 of these subject areas. So please be sure that you're also taking arts and humanities and or social behavioral sciences courses to meet this 7-course pattern requirement. Now, all the majors in the College of Engineering are what we considered a selective major. Selective majors at UC Davis have additional course requirements and have additional GPA requirements due to the selectivity and also the limited space that we have for the program. And as again, the College of Engineering is, all the majors in the College of Engineering are selective majors. The best way to see which classes are required for your selective major in the College of Engineering is to visit the UC Davis Selective Major webpage. This page that you see on the screen right here is our selective major webpage. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll be able to see all the majors that are selective and have additional course and GPA requirements. In the College of Engineering, you'll see that all majors have these additional courses. You'll go ahead and select that link, and then you'll be able to see the specific course requirements for the specific College of Engineering major that you're looking into. Like we said before, engineering applicants must have a minimum GPA of a 3.1. But then another requirement specifically for engineering applicants is that you need to have a 3.2 GPA specifically across all the courses required for your major, which we'll talk about in a bit. Here you'll see all the majors that the College of Engineering offers. And if you select one, you'll be able to see which specific classes are required for this major. As a reminder, these are all UC Davis classes, so it will be up to you to find which classes are offered at your community college that are equivalent to these UC Davis courses. In that situation, we're going to go ahead and recommend assist.org. This is a free online tool that many of you are probably already familiar with. But in this left side box with the articulation agreements, that's where you'll be able to find which classes at your community college are equivalent to these required classes at UC Davis. So in this situation, you'll just put the most recent academic year that you're taking classes, your primary community college, and then the UC Davis or the campus you want to transfer to. You'll type in your major. And then on the left-hand side, it will give you all the classes that are required for admission, as well as some other recommended classes as well. It will give you all the classes that it recommends, but please note that the only classes that are required for admission are listed on this selected major webpage. And then on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see the classes that are offered at your primary community college and which classes those are. Please note that some classes might not have a one-to-one course equivalent at your community college, but it is really important to really double check that if this class is offered at all. For example, at Sacramento City College, according to this articulation agreement between electrical engineering, there is no one-to-one course equivalent. However, you are still able to earn credit for chemistry or Chem 2A if you complete Chem 400 and Chem 401 at Sacramento City College. So in this situation, because you can still earn credit for this chemistry requirement, you will be expected to do both courses, for example. Other things to note, it will highlight if it's required for admission. If it doesn't have that specific designation required for admission at either the top or right below the course, then those classes are recommended and are not going to be required in the admission process. So for example, section 7, section 8, section 9, section 10 are not required for admission, but highly recommended because you'll have to take them at some point. But all right, so there's some resources that I wanted to share with you all before we officially wrapped up. If you have any questions about the transfer application process, I'd highly recommend, checking out those helpful resources, checking out online on our requirements, reaching out to our admissions office, and getting as much support as you can. Additionally, too, your transfer centers are really helpful. Transfer clubs, support programs at your community college, as they often have a lot of experience with helping out transfer students to UC Davis in particular. I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope all this information was helpful for you all, and I really hope you all stay connected. If you have any future questions, once again, this webinar is being recorded. So please be sure to check out our UC Davis top YouTube channel or reach out to our undergraduate admissions office at UC Davis. We'll be happy to help out wherever we can. All right. Thanks, y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care.